Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders What podcast. Today, for episode, I believe, 311. Wow. I have my new good friend, Joel Solomon, aka Mr. Master Prosperity Coach. We connected about just 3-4 weeks ago to my favorite community online, which is the Serving Circle. And I listened to him in his talks for a couple of weeks, and then we connected. We had a beautiful chat just before the holidays. Today is actually the 1st of January. It's here. It's the 2nd of January, 8 o'clock. It's 8:08 right now. Wow, missed 2024, 8:08. Wow, that's a moment that needs to be a screenshot. Oh, it's 8:09. Missed it. Anyway, never mind. But anyways, so it's very fitting because he is Mr. Money Mastery, and he helps people become financially free so they don't have to work if they don't want to. He's a former hedge fund manager. And his company's name, Lowermore, is after his two daughters' name, which is absolutely beautiful. A few more things about him. Of course, he enjoys managing money for himself and his client. Hashtag doubt the doubt. He, when we chatted last a few weeks, 2-3 weeks ago, he said a lot of powerful things. But one thing that really stood out to me is said, have faith in your dreams. Most people have faith in their doubt, and that's so freaking true. But anyways, there's so much more we can talk in a nutshell as well. In 2008, he became a hedge fund manager, started his own fund in 2015. Then he had an epiphany that he wanted, even though he was and his career was successful, but his heart wasn't in it. So he set on to help people educate them to become financially independent and financially free. And he's also written 3 books. He's working on his 4th. As I told him, me and him, we can have quite a few. This is not the only podcast we'll do, because there's so much content that we can do that he can share with us. Is a lot of experiences, wisdom, and gifts. And I'm all for helping people share their gifts through my podcast, my books, and all that. So there's so much more we can talk. And he also did a TEDx talk. He was very, he had a big fear, which was doing public speaking, and he overcame that by signing up for a Toastmaster program. Then he did a TEDx talk, and then his proudest moment was doing a speech for his daughters. And what was that again? For what? Sorry.
So in 2017, I spoke at my daughter Lauren's bat mitzvah in front of 200 people without any note cards, which my whole life I was speaking with papers in front of me. So yes, that was my biggest fear. And Payman, thank you so much for having me on. It's a really big pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine, Joel. Welcome to the show. It's an honor having you. And for me, I'm all about showcasing beautiful, inspiring, empowering, and goosebump-inducing stories. And as soon as I heard your story, when you introduced yourself in the Serving Circle about a month ago, I made a mental note that I needed to not only connect with you. And as soon as we started talking, I knew that I had to bring you on the show. But I'm glad to do that today here. So tell us, Joel, first of all, on this first day of January 2024, the year of prosperity and abundance, how are you doing today? Tonight for you.
I'm great. Tonight, in the morning, I tell my clients that I create my life and they create their life. So you get to choose every day when you wake up if it's going to be a great day or not, just by your thoughts and your actions and your beliefs. So today has been a great day, and tomorrow will be another great day.
Absolutely. One of the mantras I saw recently is that when you wake up in the morning, first thing you say, today's a great day to have a great day. But today's a good day to have a good day. Something like those lines.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So the types of conversation I like to have on my podcast is, sure, we're going to talk about your business, your impact, and all that. But first and foremost, I'd like to have a look under the hood, so to speak, to see what's in your heart, to have a heart-to-heart conversation, to get to know you first and foremost as a man, as a human being, before the successful business person. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right. So tell us, for people who don't know you, over and beyond what the very small little introduction I did for you, who's Joel as a person, as a man, as a human being? We're going to talk about your business and all that later, but as a man, as a person, as a human being, who's Joel?
Well, first of all, I'm a proud dad. You'd already mentioned that. I'm a proud dad to Lauren and Morgan. And like you mentioned, Payman, I named my company name Sol Lore Moore after Lauren and Morgan Lore for Lauren, Moore for Morgan. So they have really taught me a lot in this lifetime already, and they have a lot more to teach me. I know I'm grateful that they chose me as their dad. And like we mentioned before we got on live, they have taught me unconditional love. They have taught me how to let go. They have taught me how to be accountable and responsible, and so much. And I so much more. In fact, yesterday, I was with my daughter Lauren, and I started to say something about celebrating. And I said celebrate, and then I paused, and she said celebrate the contrast, which
Wow.
are three words that I use and my mentor uses, Mike Dooley, as a way to talk about the gift and the challenge. And so you don't know when you're spending time with other people, especially your children, if they're picking up the lessons that you want them to pick up when
Mm,
you're with them.
mm,
And so for me, that was, and it's happened a number of times over the last 19 years. Lauren's 19, almost 20 now. And it's happened a number of times over the last 19 years where either of my children have said something and I was like, ooh, they are listening. There is something coming through that through osmosis or from my actions or for my words that they're recognizing, and celebrate the contrast really means when you have something that's not in the physical reality that seems not to be going well, to celebrate, because the universe is all about energy, frequency, and vibration. And if you could be laughing at that, you took a tumble, and if you could be laughing at it and smiling and just shift that energy quickly to a higher vibration, the universe won't know that that's a challenge, and it'll go right on giving you that higher vibration, which the highest vibration is frequency is appreciation, gratitude, love, passion, joy, along with abundance and prosperity. So what's the gift in the challenge? So anyone who's watching right now, if you're having some challenge, think about, if you could, and maybe even write it down, what your gift is in this challenge that you're having right now. Because there is a gift, even in the biggest challenge. I know you may not want to hear that. And if
mm.
you had, if I was listening to myself here on this podcast in December of 2007, right after my divorce, I would have probably shut down this podcast. I wasn't in the right frequency to hear those words.
Mhm.
But a few years later, I was. So I understand if you may not appreciate what I'm saying. So maybe come back to this podcast in a few months if if it doesn't resonate with you. But if it does, then think about what positive thing could be coming from the challenge you're having right now.
You're speaking my language, brother. This is what I always keep on talking on my podcast and my books. It's all about the gifts. You know, we both know that life is a school. We come here to learn, grow, become wiser. But from my humble understanding since my awakening, that's only 5% of why we are here. The 95% is taking the gifts, the wisdom, the lessons we learned and share them with others to whatever means it's more comfortable for us. For me, it's through speaking, my podcast, or my books. For someone else, might be through music, painting, sports, acting, whatever. Share your gift. That's ultimately why we are here for, so we can elevate each other and create a better world and create a ripple effect that's going to make the world a better person, better place, one person at a time. So you're speaking my language, my
Yeah.
friend. So I might as well just hand over the microphone to you and say we're done.
The other thing I just wanted to say, Payman, is that what you just said is really critical, and everyone needs to hear that again, because everyone, I believe, has a purpose on this earth,
Absolutely.
and most people are not doing it. So if you're watching, think about that for a few minutes. You have a soul's purpose. You
Mhm.
came here for a reason, and when you're doing it, I truly believe, in fact, my upcoming book is called Purpose and Prosperity.
Oh,
and
I
I'm
love that.
co-authoring it with a purpose coach. And we say that when you are living in purpose and you're
Mm,
not just doing something to pay the bills, but you're doing something with purpose and you're doing it because you're really enjoying it, your vibration is going to be higher and you're going to create more abundance and prosperity, not only for you, but for the world.
absolutely.
So it could be a good exercise to do, to think about in the new year, what is really excites you, maybe from childhood. Think about going back to, when you were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and writing down some things that really were fun for you, and maybe connecting the dots and seeing how you could apply those things to your adult life so that your life can be fun and celebrating every day, and every day is a holiday because you're doing what you love, because then you're vibrating at a higher level and you're appreciating your life, and it's not drudgery. I'll tell a quick story. So you mentioned how in 2008, I became a hedge fund manager. So that was my dream job. If you asked me from 1993 until 2008, or until 2015, what's your dream job? I would have said hedge fund manager. And I achieved my dream. And in January 2008, I was commuting. I live in Westchester, New York, and I was commuting downtown to Citigroup. And I took the commuter train in, and then I took a subway downtown. And on the subway train, I had to be in, call it 7:30 in the morning. So I had to be on that subway at 5 to 7 o'clock. And the people who were on the subways in the car at that time, and I'm like on my BlackBerry and like so excited. It's my first few weeks, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm living my dream, and what's going to happen today? And I looked around the car the first few days, and everyone's like this. They're so upset. They're so angry that they had to be up that early. They had to be, in that car, on that subway, going to work. And they clearly were doing drudgery. And so I think about those days every day, because there's so many people on this earth. Out of the 8 billion people, there's probably 95% of them that are like being, very upset
Mhm.
going to work and having that vibration,
Yep.
which is not serving them. And so if, I teach about manifestation, I teach about money mindset, and it's really hard to manifest abundance when you're vibrating down here in sadness and depression and anger and worry and fear. You're on a different frequency. And so it's really hard to get there from here. And so, but most people, 95% plus of the world is down here every day, really unhappy, not doing things that they came here to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so true. That is so true. Oh, yeah. And I might even add another type of people on the subway who are just trying to catch up some last minute sleep, you know?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely. We can do an entire show just on that. What can people do? We're not going to tackle that here because that could be an entire episode by itself, but maybe in a future episode. What can people do to get out of this place of just doing something just because they have to do it, and because of that approach, they're in a lower vibration? What can you do to get out of this vicious circle so you can elevate the vibration to doing something that really makes the heart come alive, so they can be more productive and more happier overall? And I understand that's something you teach, we
Yep.
can do. And if you could summarize that in 1 or 2 key takeaways, what would those be?
Well, we talked about one of them, which is hashtag doubt the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Having faith in the dream and knowing that you can achieve it no matter how old you are, how young you are, how wise you are, how not so wise you are, what position you're in, but knowing in your heart of hearts that you can achieve that dream.
Mm-hmm.
And if you believe in yourself and you search out for people that can support you, by the way, I give everybody 30 minutes free of prosperity coaching, no obligation to do anything more. If anybody wants some support for even just 30 minutes, just reach out to me at salamour.com. It's SALAURMOR.com. So one very simple thing is to have faith in your dream and believe that it can be achieved quickly. And two, second advice would be to take a small baby step in the direction of your dreams and see where you get some traction. Take some baby steps in a few different directions. And you don't need to do what I did, which was as you mentioned, Payman, in 2015, I went to a personal development course, and the next day I had an epiphany there. And the next day I shut down my hedge fund to do this. Next day, one day, just shut it down. Now, I'm not suggesting everyone should do that because everyone's in a different position in terms of savings and mindset and so on. Having said that, you can take a baby step by maybe spending 30 minutes a day working on the dream. Even if you have a full-time job, you can spend a few minutes every day on the dream, which will make you happier. Even if because the little actions you're taking, you're showing the universe that you have faith. By even taking that small little action, you're showing the universe you have faith. So there's two suggestions.
Beautiful. Love those, love those, love those. We can expand that and we'll do that in a future episode. Let's move forward. So I love how this has started. I love that. Now, I'd like to ask you a series of rapid fire questions to further get to know you as a person. Ready?
Sure.
What makes you happy?
Well, besides my children, what makes me happy is doing what I love. And that is serving people. And like I said, I give everybody 30 minutes free. So somebody on a networking call last month in December asked me, Joel, what do you do with people who are struggling? I understand you have one-on-one coaching, you have membership, you have courses that you teach. I said, well, I give everybody 30 minutes free, and I have 701 free videos on my YouTube channel.
Wow.
You can binge on my YouTube channel for months if you want to. And I have some raving fans who do that, and it's all free. So so you can do that if you're struggling. So anyway, being of service to others, that's what makes me happy. When I help people move towards financial freedom, that's what makes me happy. And doing what I love, teaching people how to manifest money, teach people how to change their mindset, and teaching people how to invest. That's what's just really, that floats my boat. That's what makes me really, really happy.
You just said something that really resonates with me. And that is, isn't that the most beautiful place to be when you're absolutely enjoying, loving what you're doing? Other than happiness. I mean, this is happiness. One form of reaching and achieving happiness by doing what makes your heart come alive, sets your soul on fire. And when you do that, you don't need an alarm clock in the morning. You don't mind working, I don't know, 80 hours a week because you're enjoying it.
It's not work.
Absolutely. You would do it even for free.
Right. It's fun. And for me, when I see the light bulbs go off and people get it and they realize that they've been their own impediment to achieving bliss and abundance and prosperity, that's when the abundance and prosperity flows. And that's when my heart leaps, because they realize that they've been the resistance to the life of their dreams.
Absolutely. One of the saying is what is it? What's the difference between where you are and the life you dream about is the story you tell yourself all day long. What's in between your two ears?
Exactly.
Whether you say you can or you cannot do it, you're right either way.
Yes, Henry Ford. If you believe you can, you believe you can't. Either way, you're right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Beautiful. Now, what makes you smile?
Well, it's rule number 3 in the 9 money rules is, can happiness buy you money?
Oh,
Not
absolutely.
can money buy you happiness. Can happiness buy you money?
Yes.
So I go into details, but I'll tell you just a few things that I do in the morning that raises my vibration. And whoever's watching right now, take what resonates with you and then make a list for yourself of happy habits. So for me, it's listening to uplifting songs. It's going for a jog. It's spending time with my daughters, playing games with them, playing ping pong. It's meditating. It's visualizing. It's going into Manhattan and just experiencing the energy there, going to a nice restaurant, which I did this past week, going to a show, going to movies, traveling. I love traveling around the globe and meeting other people and other cultures and experience them on their turf and understanding them from their point of view, which is just awesome. So for me, that's just a few things. For others, it can be getting a mani-pedi, or
Oh, yes.
it could
I
be,
enjoy those myself, you know. I need
it
one
could be,
actually.
yes, I think I do too. Uh, so it could be like spending time with your animals, you're petting your dog, your cat. Maybe it could be gardening, but maybe it could be just taking a walk on the beach. Maybe it could be just writing in your gratitude journal what you're grateful for. But just taking a few minutes and to really, those kinds of things make me smile.
Love that, love that. Now let's take the happiness factor a couple of notches higher. What sets your soul on fire? What makes your heart sing?
Well, I think I've kind of mentioned them. It's really serving others.
Mm,
Like that's what really makes my heart sing and my soul open up with glee. And when I can help somebody, like I had one client who came to me a few years ago who had no knowledge of the stock market. He said, "I want to learn everything you know about the stock market." And I taught him everything I knew. And he generated $3 million in the stock market 2 years ago.
wow.
I had another client who, actually, this is not a client. This is somebody who came to me for 30 minutes free, who told me they were about to get kicked out of their apartment because they didn't have the rent for the next month. And so I gave him a powerful manifestation exercise. Of course, this doesn't happen with everyone and no guarantees, but he manifested $10,000 US. He lives in Mexico, $10,000 US in 9 days. And he was able to stay in his apartment for the next few months and continue to manifest more money in the future months. So that's what sets my heart ablaze, is when I can help people who are really struggling, help people who don't have the knowledge yet, and help them become financially free or move them towards financial freedom. That's what makes my heart soar.
Beautiful. You know, $10,000 would go far, and everyone in the world, especially in a place like Mexico, it'd go even further. I'd love
Yeah.
if, at the end, if you can share those manifestation those affirmation that you mentioned. I will put them in the show notes, and I'll say there's always room for improvement, even for me, for all of us, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a sponge. I love listening to experts and learning from them. So awesome. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what makes you sad and angry?
Well, I guess what makes me sad is when I see hatred in the world.
Mm,
When somebody does something that's perceived to be quote unquote wrong, and then somebody else spews their anger or hatred to that person or that group. So what's happening is the person who then sent the anger to the person who quote unquote did something wrong is lowering their vibration and only hurting themselves.
absolutely.
And again, they can't get to gratitude and appreciation and abundance and prosperity, which is a vibration up here, by spewing anger and hatred to a group or a person. So they vibrate down here, and it's not serving them. And so that's what hurts my heart, is when people don't understand what they're doing to themselves by getting angry, by getting upset. That's what makes me sad.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And one of the things that my parents always emphasized on always is never ever hold grudges, because when you hold grudges, the only person you're really hurting is you, because they might not even care and know what's going on.
Right.
Just release them, not for them, but for your own peace of mind.
Yeah. I teach my daughters, kill them with kindness.
That's
You know,
it.
somebody does something wrong, or somebody told me to change that selling from kill them with kindness to just send them tons of kindness. No
Yeah.
word kill.
Instead of
But
kill
anyway,
them
the
with
point be, yeah,
instead of killing them with kindness, melt them with kindness.
milk them with kindness. Yes,
Yeah.
much better. So there were times when my daughters were growing up that they were bullied,
Ah,
and And so I got divorced when they were quite young. So they would be over my house and telling me the story, or my former wife would tell me the story. And so I'd have an opportunity to teach them. Go into school the next morning, and you don't have to tell the girl that you love her. You could say it in your mind. Just send them love in your mind,
Oh, yes.
right? And send them appreciation in your mind. And I have a story in my second book, The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, about dogs.
Oh,
And the reason I have a story in there is because I almost got killed by a dog. When I was 22 years old, a dog bit my jugular. A Doberman bit my jugular. I was on the ground, and the owner had to pull the dog off me. So for years afterwards, I was fearful of dogs. And you could say rightly so, but I chose to be fearful. I chose to be angry and fearful and mad at dogs. All dogs. It didn't matter if it was a beautiful puppy, a beautiful poodle. It didn't
yeah.
matter.
Wow.
So I jog almost every day, and I've been jogging around this house here in Westchester for the last 18 years. And for the first few years, when even here, 15 years later, I would jump, if I saw a dog off a leash, I would get worried, get scared, get fearful, and probably send them some negative energy.
Yes.
And about 12 years ago, I started changing my thoughts and changing my actions. And now dogs will come up to me and lick my face.
Oh, that's cute.
And so it really is amazing, just by changing your thought energy, by sending out love and appreciation, gratitude, and this is a beautiful animal, and they're kind, and most people are kind, caring, and out to help me. That you can shift the energy of how they react to you. And so I say, what I'm doing with dogs, you can do with people. And so nowadays I'm running around this park, and dogs will run up to me and want me to stop as I'm jogging in order to pet them or have them lick my face or just be kind to them. So it's an interesting change from just 15 years ago.
Absolutely. Wow, what a story. So next time might just go out with your pockets full of treats for dogs, and hey, you might end up with owning a dog in the future. Who knows?
Right. Right.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful. We can do an entire episode just on that alone. What happened with the dog, and use that as a metaphor for other aspect of our lives. How do you turn hatred towards love to people? That could be even a topic for a beautiful, maybe just put it out there for your next book or my next book. Who knows?
Yeah, I love it. It's so true. And people, like, there's 8 billion people on the planet. I'd say most people don't understand this. And that's why there's still wars and fights. And if people just milked others with kindness, as you said,
It's all
right,
about
and
the
just sent the love
it's all
to
about
them, then
holding grudges.
yes, yes. And I've been sending loving kindness to my former wife for many years, and the energy has shifted, and it's a beautiful thing when you observe it in the physical world after you're changing your energy, changing your thoughts. I read a great book in 2012 called Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping, and I recommend it to my clients. I had a
What is it
client
about in a
who,
nutshell?
so it's about changing your energy.
Oh, okay.
And basically exactly what we're talking about. The other person or other entity doesn't need to change, only you do. And once you change your energy, the world changes.
By projection, they can feel your energy.
Right.
Absolutely.
So if you're vibrating up here in love and joy and passion, they have a choice, right? If they're vibrating down here, they could feel the gap and just be in the gap and feel that angst, or they could rise up to your level of frequency. And so that's the book in a nutshell. It actually has worksheets that I recommend my clients who are going through some anger issues with their former husbands or former wives. And I've had 2 clients in 2023 that I recommended these worksheets to. They're free online. He gives them out free, Colin. And I highly recommend anybody who's feeling anger to anyone else in the world, you can just do a couple of worksheets and shift your energy, and then watch the universe shift with that shift in energy.
Not only that, it also elevates you to a higher
Yes.
level, and when you're the higher vibration than others, when people try to get at you, you don't get affected.
Right.
It just like goes off your back, just like water over a duck's, skin. It just rolls
Yes.
around. It doesn't affect you.
And what's interesting is when you increase your vibration, you're doing these worksheets and you're raising your vibration, you'll come in contact with people who are here, right? Law of attraction, right? So it's rare that you'll meet these people who are down here anyway. And it's even more fun and exciting to play with people who are at this higher vibration level, like you are, Payman. So like that's why we get along so well, because you're high vibing.
Thank you.
And so you're interacting with people who are. And it's just a so much more fun way to live your life than to be down here in these, the lower levels of sadness, depression, worry, fear, and anger.
Absolutely. Absolutely powerful. Not only you attract other people that are even at the same level, even higher than you, they're going to further elevate you even further. But the people that are low, they have two options: either remain low or elevate. And a majority of them will decide, even subconsciously, hey, let me elevate as well. And you're doing these people as a service as well, a favor.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's beautiful. It's a win-win across the board. Beautiful.
Right.
I love that. All right. I love this conversation. Tell us, what scares you?
I don't have a lot of fears, actually.
Not even spiders? I'm joking.
No, I mean, all beings are sentient. I believe we all have consciousness in us, from the plants and animals and trees. So yeah, if you had asked me that 10 years ago, I might have said, well,
Dogs.
yeah, I guess 10 years ago would have been fear of public speaking. 9 years ago. So December 10, 2015, when I had my epiphany, I had a big fear of public speaking. That's gone. I had fear of death.
Interesting.
So in one of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh yes, classic.
Napoleon Hill mentions the 6 biggest fears: fear of poverty, fear of ill health, fear of the loss of somebody you love, fear of death, and
Loneliness.
Loneliness. Yeah. So I went through those and I'm like, okay, fear of criticism was one of them. And that was the reason why I had the fear of public speaking. And I've been teaching my daughter this for years. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It only matters what you think.
Exactly.
And so I'm here to serve. And back 10 years ago, if I spoke in public, I cared too much about what other people thought, and I wasn't coming from a place of service. Now I am, so that's gone away. And I don't have any fear. I know we are eternal souls. And so I don't have a fear of death or ill health, because if that leads to the next iteration of my soul, fine. So I don't really have, it's been a good journey, but I don't really have much fears these days. In fact, when I was in India in January, there was this snake charmer with a giant python, and my group was shopping at a jewelry store, and I wasn't shopping for jewelry. And one of the people on the tour with me was hanging out with the snake charmer, and I was watching him, and the guy called me over, and he said, for a little bit of money, you could put the snake around your neck, and he would do his thing. And so I did, and for about 5-10 seconds, as the snake was wrapping itself closer and closer around my neck, as my neck was tightening, I realized what was going on. I was being fearful. I was worried that the snake, and then I said, Joel, you don't have a fear of death. What's going on here? You know, you're not dying this moment either. And so I started breathing and released the fear. And then the snake released its tightness.
Oh, yes.
And so it's very interesting. You know, I was consciously or subconsciously communicating with the snake and the snake charmer without truly consciously knowing it. And so it was an interesting moment, but I did it because I knew I had no fear of death.
That's powerful. You know, every documentary I've watched on wild animals like lions and all that, they can feel your fear. If they feel your fear, they will pounce on you. But if you see you relax, they will respect it, they will stay away. That's powerful. And that applies to anything in life. You know,
Right.
2 months ago, when I went back to Malaysia, I went to a men's circle event that one of my friend was hosting, and toward the end of it, he asked us to do a ice bath, jump in a
Yeah, yeah.
bucket of ice. So I was probably, I made a smart decision that I was the second person to go because I was getting late, it was getting colder, and after each person, he was putting 30 a new box of ice in the bucket. So the later it was even colder and all that. So, anyways, I swear to you, Joel, we had to stay 2 minutes in that bucket of ice. I've been taking cold showers all my life, so I thought for me it's a no biggie, piece of cake. I swear to you, the first 10, 20 seconds of me being in that bucket of ice were the most painful, most every ounce of my body was screaming, "Get the F out of here." I was like panicking. I could not feel my feet. My feet were burning in a bucket of ice. And then I realized, hey, slow down, relax. As soon as I did that, when the 2 minutes were up, the guy told me, hey, get out. I said, no, I don't want to get out.
Right.
And you can apply that to everything in life. Do not panic. Control your breathing, relax. Once you realize that our ultimate superpower is go within, relax, control your breathing, and apply that, and you can tackle any situation in life, any challenge.
Absolutely. And I did skydiving
Oh,
over the
wow.
Great Barrier Reef in 2000, 24 years ago now. And I will tell you, for the first 5 or 10 seconds, I was in fear. And in fact, I have a video of my like that. And then I realized what I was doing, even back then, where I wasn't on the spiritual journey that I am now. And I realized what I was doing, and I started enjoying the view, enjoying the moment. How often am I going to have this experience? And right as I realized I have a choice and I can enjoy this, then the parachute opened, and now is just floating. For the next 20, 30 minutes, it was bliss. It was pure bliss.
That's one of my items on my bucket list. I can't wait. And yeah, there's so many things that we can talk. But anyways, I love that. Moving forward, what would you say is your number one personal superpower?
I think it's thoughts.
Mm.
It's your thoughts can create your life. And I've been able to manifest crazy awesome things in my life, and I've been able to travel to India and Egypt and Machu Picchu and Hawaii and manifested a lot of money, millions of dollars in my life. And so I believe that that's my superpower, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, so I can teach people how to do it themselves. What I teach is your manifestation, your abundance, your prosperity can come in an infinite number of ways when you believe it. And it doesn't have to be from stock investing like it did for me. It could be from real estate. It could be from your business. It could be winning the lottery, even though I don't recommend that. In the book, I talk about the reasons why that's probably not the best way to create abundance. But there's almost an infinite number of ways. And so knowing that and empowering people to realize that they can create their life and then they can create their abundance. Yes, I guess I guess the other thing I do talk about in my book, which is quite unusual, is that I see stock symbols on license plates.
Really? Wow.
Yes. So you
Wow.
could say maybe that's my superpower as well.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's beautiful. Now, when was the last time you had a really, really, really hearty laugh? The kind of laugh that makes your cheeks hurt. You get almost tears coming. Your stomach is in
Mhm.
pain, but you know you can't control yourself in a good way. When was the last time? And what was that made you that?
That's a great question. I did see a movie with my daughters this week that was pretty funny. I was laughing out loud, but I was into tears. There was Willy Wonka, or
Oh
Wonka, I
yes.
think it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was very funny. Oh, and the show we went to, Book of Mormon, here in New York on Broadway, I was also laughing out loud quite, and my daughters actually looked at me a couple of times because I was like, yeah. So I didn't have tears coming down, but I had a big smile on my face. They definitely caught me in a really good laugh. So
Beautiful.
actually, a few times this week it happened.
You know, laughter is probably the single most powerful medicine in the world. You know, I heard
Yes.
a doctor say one time, if every doctor in the world would prescribe every person on this planet 30 minutes of mandatory laughing each day, within 30 days, 95% of all ailments would be gone. Because what causes disease is stress. And when you smile and laugh, you make your body toxic for stress and hence for disease.
Yeah. So let me tell you a quick story, Payman. So when I
Yes.
was managing my hedge fund, Solomore Capital, usually hedge funds, as you may know, and money managers, they have a TV
Mm,
in their office, and it's set to CNBC, some business channel.
yeah.
And so they're watching this business channel about the news. And so I'm quite unusual money manager. I do not watch TV
Tom and
news.
Jerry's.
I don't listen to radio, and I don't read newspapers.
Good.
And in fact, people ask me how managing money as a hedge fund manager, hundreds of millions of dollars, how I didn't read newspapers. And I said, I got the news from the investment banks on my companies. So I knew what was going on with my companies. But anyway, so all the hedge funds have their TV set to CNBC or the business news here in the States. And when I got in, it was funny because I left and they would change the channel to the business channel each night. And I'd have to come in the morning and switch the channel back to Curious George, which, you know, like Tom and Jerry's. So I watched Curious George in the morning before the stock market opened to get me to laugh and smile and be in a good
Okay.
mood to raise my vibration.
Beautiful. Love
So
that. Love
you
that.
guessed it.
Absolutely. Now, what is one thing that you used to value that you don't value anymore?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Something that I used to value.
Can be an object, physical thing, or can be a principle, you know, philosophy, anything.
Yeah, I guess I'm not saying it's bad to want for material things. And I am all for my clients wanting abundance and creating abundance and traveling, but for me, it's not so much material. It used to be material things, getting, the Lamborghini. But for me now, it's about experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've talked about, happy habits, doing the things I love to do, helping others. So that's what the big shift is for me. And if I'm not telling anyone who's watching that it's wrong for them to want material things and to have massive abundance and to get the Lamborghini. I don't absolutely need it. That's the shift that's happened. It's fine if I get it, but I don't need it. Whereas back, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was an absolute need.
I love that. Now, on the flip side, what is one thing that you did not value before that you now are valuing more and more?
Well, now we've talked about it, relationships, energy,
Mm-hmm.
frequency, and all that is really critical. So that's what I value now, is raising my vibration and the relationships with others who are vibrating down here. I like to interact with those people like you, Payman, and then the others, I've been eliminating or reducing the amount of interaction with those people who are vibrating at lower levels, because it, like we talked about, it can create some angst in them and in you. So I'd rather hang out with people like you.
Absolutely. You know, speaking of that, I will say that over the last 53 minutes we've been talking, you've actually helped me raise my vibration. I felt so much better. Thank you for that.
Oh, my
And
pleasure.
this is the best way to start my day. Hey, I love this. And you know, when you don't even have to remove people from your life. When you vibrate at a higher level, they will not even come to you because they will feel, as I said earlier,
Yeah.
they have two options, either to swallow their pride and ego and elevate, or if they can't, or if it's not the right time for them to do so, then they will slowly distance themselves from you without you having to do anything. If you feel, you know, intimidated and whatnot. So you just
Exactly.
elevate
No,
yourself and you will rise others with you. So you've helped me raise my vibration this morning. I love that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. You're an inspiration, and I'm glad that we connected. We're gonna call it a day for today's episode. We will do a part 2 in a week or so. And listen, absolutely honored to have you. We can do so much more. And if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
yeah, so it's salamour.com, SALEURMOR.com. Before I go, I did want to we talked about gifts. I want to give
Please.
a gift away.
Mhm.
So for those of you who are in the US, I'm not sure if it works internationally. If it doesn't work internationally, you can reach out to me at joel@salamour.com and I'll send you the gift. But if you're in the US or Canada, you could text to the number 668, text the number 66866 prosperity. Some say my middle name, Joel Prosperity Solomon on Instagram and TikTok. So if you text to the 66866 prosperity, you'll get a free video called How to Ease Your Money Worries. If you've had any money worries going into 2024, this is the video to watch. It's a very short 5 or 6 minute video. It'll give you 2 specific techniques to use to ease your money worries.
Love that. And if you can kindly share that with me on Messenger, I will put it on the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I will share it today with my audience. So if you can send it to me right away, I'll share it with my audience. That would be awesome. Listen, Joel, absolute honor, pleasure talking to you. This is the first part of our ongoing long conversation, inspiring, frequency elevating conversation. I'm very much looking forward to that. I salute you. You're a cheerleader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world with your impact, your presence, and your smile, and everything you do. Stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you, my friend. Talk to you very soon. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.